3. Travel and Things in association with Sun Destinations, iconic destinations with amazing experiences, present In Conversation With. I am your host, David Batsoffen, and today I am really proud to say that my guest is the 12th FGASA Scout Guide in South Africa. That's Andrew Kearney. Andrew, firstly, congratulations. How are you?
David, good morning. I'm absolutely fine. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today. And I'm still smiling.
I can imagine, because for people who don't know, people who go into the bush and they have a field guide on their vehicle, some young lady or some young gentleman, and he goes, that's a zebra, and a zebra can run at 65 kilometers an hour, and it's not white with black stripes. It's, the usual stuff. Then along comes people like yourself and the other 11 who are FGASA Scout Guides. And to put this into context, you have to be full advanced trails guide, full level 3 specialist qualification, full level 3 tracker, that's trailing track and sign. And this is the one that got me. 600 plus dangerous game encounters with a minimum of 30 encounters per animal category. I mean, that is freakingly phenomenal. 1,200 hours on a trail. I've done like 4, and I know how tough that was. And a minimum of 100 mentored and logged hours with at least 5 SKS DG mentors, of which 3 must be SKS DG assessors. I mean, let's go back to the beginning. Why, Andrew? Why?
I tried to keep up with the list in my head there, but I got lost there. So I think just briefly, yeah, 100% correct. You need to be, in order to reach Scout qualification, which is obviously a FGASA recognized qualification. You have to obviously, with the FGASA system, have SKS in dangerous game, which is, as you correctly say, it's 1,200 hours minimum entry into that qualification, and then obviously all the different encounters on foot with all the different categories of dangerous game, and obviously time spent with all the different people as you are working through your qualifications and the years spent in the bush. Correct.
So describe for people who don't know what SKS and DG are.
It's a recognized qualification as you move through the ranks. Obviously, Trails Guide would be a qualification with people walking on foot, and SKS or special knowledge and skills in dangerous game is just a higher form of Trails Guide. It's higher recognition of experience. So entry level Trails Guide, a couple of 100 hours, couple of encounters, and they're still amazing guides and have amazing skills, and it's a tough qualification to get that, and then obviously adding on to that, if you were to achieve the professional field guide qualification through FGASA and lead Trails Guides with 600 hours and numerous encounters and experience, and then you get your professional Trails Guide qualification, and then even higher above that would be the SKS. It is really a high level of ability and understanding and experience with dangerous game. Obviously, everything evolved around respect and understanding and safety with this dangerous game.
Well, I mean, and 600 encounters is by no means an easy feat.
It's not a 1-year qualification.
I've been with people at camps where they've just tried to find, dangerous one sighting, and the game all the dangerous game had literally seemed to have moved off the property, and all they were finding was impala and kudu, and neither of which count as dangerous game.
Yeah. So look, according to the books, if things are done the right way and as they should be, and we call it with everything in mind for the animal, the guests, and the guide, It's not a 1-year qualification or a 2-year or a 3-year. You kind of looking towards probably about 8 years of good walking as a guide before you can even think of meeting the bare minimum requirements. 5 to 8 years.
So let's go back to Andrew as an 18-year-old in matric. I'm assuming you got that far. Sometimes, like me, I got to matric. How, I don't know. I think you sounded as surprised as I was to make it that far. But what did Andrew...
I only did it once.
Yeah. I always wanted to put MA behind my name. And when people say, did you do a master's? No, matric again. What did an 18-year-old Andrew have in mind for himself? Did you know that this, where you are now, is where you wanted to be? Or did you have a different career path planned for yourself?
No, this is even way before I was 18. I knew this was it. It was actually quite funny working with CyberTracker for so many years and being an assessor with CyberTracker. I do a lot of teaching and mentoring of trackers and guides, and teaching people how to do track and sign identification and just about the journey of tracking. And one of the things I often go back to is my first tracking book. I still have, and I got it when I was 11. So
wow.
as an 11-year-old, I've still got the date in it. I remember where I bought it in Natal at the shop there, and as a youngster, I got taken to the shop as a present. I could go and buy a book, and I got a tracking book. All my books were mammal books and reptile books. I was besotted with snakes. So from a very, very early age, it's always been about the bush. So I knew exactly what I wanted to do. The intention was to study after school, straight away after school, and life just doesn't always work out like that. But as one door closes in life, another one opens up. And I was phoned. I'd sent my CV off for holiday work as a 18-year-old. Instead of doing the matric vacation, I was looking for game reserves where I could go and work on. Don't know what I was going to do, but that's what I was hoping to do. And I got called when the door for studying opportunities closed. The phone rang by the head ranger, Skulk Pretorius, who I'm sure you know and spoken to. He's also an absolute legend in the industry, and he phoned me and said, well, let's see what we can do. Are you keen to come and join us? As what? No, come and guide, come and spend time with us. I was like, but I want to go and study. I need to figure out how to go and study. And he said, well, we'll teach you. And I joined Skulk, and I joined the in-house training program with them, and got onto the FGASA system, onto the journey of FGASA, that I didn't have a clue what it was or why I need to, why. And I figured out, and everything was explained to me, and there was the different levels, and then the bug bit, and it was, man, I can get qualified, I can learn, I can join this incredible journey of learning. And that was it for me.
So how long did it take you to reach this particular point, getting this scout guide qualification?
Okay, so I started off as an 18-year-old in the industry. There were a lot less restrictions back then than there are now, in terms of like PDPs and all of that, limiting guides to 21 years old. And so that by the time I was 21, I already had the level 3 qualifications and SKS. My wife gets so annoyed with me because I tend to have a memory where I read something once and I never forget it.
Right.
So I don't think I've studied for anything in my entire life. I've read a lot, but I have never studied for anything. And that's how my mind works. I see things in a very specific way. Numbers don't make very much sense to me. But when I see stuff, I have an ability to retain visual information, and I think that is why the tracking side of things has stuck with me, because I see things very clearly, and I have a way of kind of going into the files in my brain and pulling out files that match what
You
I'm seeing on
see,
the ground,
you're
and just
lucky.
overlay. And
You seem to be able to access those files. I've got a cabinet, but it seems to be locked. Every time I look at something, I go, I think I know what it is, but let me just take a dip because the
make
cabinet
no
won't
mistake,
open.
I've got a lot of files at the back that are dusty and unused and very cluttered, but my filing system for
It's
tracking
good.
is
Who
bang
was your
on.
who was your mentor as a tracker?
So I went, Cyber Tracker was relatively new when I went and did my first evaluation. I think I was in my very early 20s, 2002, 2003. I went and did an evaluation with Johan Fourie and JJ Minier, who's a master tracker, absolute phenomenal guy. And I have never worked with trackers as a guide in my career. So I've had to do a lot of the stuff for myself, but that's also, it's given me a lot of pros. In other words, I've had to learn, I've had to track, I've had to find, I've had to identify, I've had to figure it out myself. But the cons of that is I've never had anyone to teach me or show me, or that I've had the ability to learn from on the job, like many guides have had. So again, pros and cons to it, but I became a level 3 tracker back then on my first evaluation with track and sign and trailing. I just seem to have a bit of a knack for it, I suppose. And then my journey kind of went very stagnant in terms of assessments and furthering it, just because of my access to different assessors. I moved down to my little piece of paradise in the Eastern Cape at Shamwari, and it's we have an incredible network down here, but a lot of the tracking was always situated further up country. And we went very quiet down here for a number of years, and funnily enough, dealing with Skulk again and his instructors, we kind of said, no, it's time. We need to get some guys down here, and they phoned one day and said they're organizing a master tracker to come down to the Eastern Cape. Adrian Lowe, would I be interested of him spending some time with us this side? And it was yes. And
how soon can he get here?
Exactly. So I'd never met Adrian before. I'd obviously heard of him and knew of this other bush legend. There's a few names that just keep on going around and around and around, and he was obviously one of those big names. And I was, man, we've got to get him here. And so I got him to Shamwari. I think I do have to say it, and I'll say it so many times, that Shamwari has the amazing ability to invest in their staff. And one of the ways they do that is just continual training, giving the opportunities for training. So not just giving time, but giving the ability of getting the assessors here, getting the trainers here, and investing in the time for the staff to go and learn.
Because I do believe people don't realize that the Eastern Cape is a great destination for wildlife. Everybody goes, oh, you've got to go up north or northwest. Nobody goes to the Western Cape because there's nothing really there except a mountain and a really cold ocean. But the Cape people seem to
one or two good wine farms.
But no big wildlife. But the Eastern Cape is a great destination because not only do you get the big five, but you can do whales and sharks at the same time if you care to jump into relatively cool water.
Yeah, so I've had the most amazing privileges as a FGASA assessor. I have to wear two hats. I've got my Shamwari hat, where I'm absolutely focused on my property and my team and guide training and development here. But as a FGASA assessor, I also need to have a wider hat and a wider ability to give other members access to what FGASA is and stands for. That has allowed me to travel quite extensively through South Africa. It has given me many opportunities to go and work in many different places. I've been on Shamwari for nearly 20 years. I think I'm 19 years now. I'll be here for another 20 if I can, just because it's the most unbelievable place in South Africa. The wildlife, I cannot explain to you the density of animals here. We don't see it anywhere else.
I was going to say, how stupid are they? You say how dense the density of animals. So how stupid are the animals in the
It's unreal. And the diversity of what you're seeing is unreal. We can sit and watch Narina trogons in the forest in yellowwood trees, and we can move to a sugar bird in the fynbos, or we can go out to karoo birds or desert birds or bushveld birds. It's unreal, the diversity that we have here. And obviously with birds, there's insects, there's trees, there's mammals, there's it's unreal. Else. And then and next week I'm going with my family out on the boats. We're going to go whale watching and dolphin watching. We've just passed the sardine run, which is
I saw some images of Don hunters, and I mean the visuals that they've been getting, the visibility this year seems to have been phenomenal.
Unreal. The gannets, the orcas, the bride's whales, the dolphins, and not just bottlenose dolphins, just a myriad of different species. And there is nowhere else in South Africa where you can watch the big five and then go and do great whites and whales,
No, not at all. I'm so glad it's my home province. I really and truly am. It's time to come back. It has been a while. But now
you have to.
Let's I want to move back to what you had to do in order to get this qualification. And I'm going to ask you a double-edged question. You have to do 600 dangerous game encounters, 30 encounters per animal. That's of the big five. What was the worst, or what was the most scary for you? And what was the one that you remember for all the right reasons, that it was just the most phenomenal sighting? It couldn't have been better. The rhino walked up, licked the back of your head, and just kept going.
I'm not going to tell you those stories, but so yeah, there's you have to achieve a minimum of 30 encounters per category, and for example, elephant bulls are one category, elephant breeding herds would be a different category. Buffalo bulls, buffalo breeding herds, lion and leopard are together, which is good because some areas have higher leopard, higher lion. Some places don't have good access to leopards, so they group that together. Black and white rhino also grouped together, although very different walking a white rhino from a black rhino.
Oh yes, indeed.
I think, and there's a lot of I don't know if you want to say irony or just how life kind of works out, but I think one of the things that I'm super blessed for is working with a very high density of black rhinos on this reserve is high. It's very in most areas on this reserve, the bush is incredibly dense. A lot of our black rhino encounters are at 5 meters. They're
just there.
They're there. You there, they there, and then everyone is just it's a party. So I've had years of walking under very, very interesting conditions. I don't want to say tough because you match the environment with your skill set, and you learn as you go. So I've spent a lot of time walking very thick bush with a lot of black rhino, and obviously your need to survive in those situations obviously dictates your abilities in the bush. So when it came to this evaluation, and I was with Lee and Adrian as the evaluator and external evaluator.
Oh, we've lost your audio. There we go, you're back.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, so
Yep.
I don't know Makalali, I don't know that reserve, I didn't know the animals, I didn't know anything, and I was hoping I would get like a really massive elephant that just left a trail of destruction for me to follow, and no such luck. I was given black rhino, and yeah, it
Not
was
easy finding those. It's not easy finding those animals in an area that you don't know. Whereas you were
no,
saying in the Eastern Cape, those things probably jumped out at you, going, "Here I am. Try and not look at me."
yeah, exactly. So I don't want to say there's one particular animal that I enjoy walking more than the next. I think just being on foot and being in nature, and very often what I teach is my style of walking is how to walk in nature so that you are part of nature. I belong here. I'm from this planet. I belong in nature. And if you have an ability to walk through the bush, portraying that, as opposed to I'm here to dominate everything, I'm here to show everything how dangerous I am to be safe, you can give away the wrong viewpoint, and animals pick up on that. So I don't want to say there's been any experiences more hairy than the next. If you walk in the bush for years and years and years, things go wrong, things go right, things happen. I have been very blessed and fortunate that I have not had to be in a situation where anything has met its end behind me or in front of me. And I think that's just a testament to the mentors that I've worked with, the people I've spent time with in the bush, the reserve that I've been on for years and years and years, and the ethics that has been drummed in from the beginning of just be part of nature. Don't be in competition with it.
So from a career point of view, where to now for Andrew Kearney? I mean, you've achieved Scout. Is there any other FGASA qualification or any other qualification post Scout, or have you now reached the top of the ladder and you're going to start sliding backwards now?
No way, can't happen. Yeah, there's always, so I'm sitting here waiting for the Zoom to start and just reading a book,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
because if you're not constantly learning, then you know, people say, "Oh, I'm 60 years old," and you go, "Yes," or if you just repeated 1 year 59 times, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So I am looking very forward to the diploma level qualification coming online with FGASA. That's something that we've been talking about for years and years and years, and it's been in the pipeline for about 3 years now, and it's almost ready, almost there, almost good to go, and I would very much like to be one of the front runners.
I'm sure you will. You and Ashwell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and he's been pivotal in designing and taking on a massive amount of all of the behind the scenes stuff to actually create a qualification that is accepted worldwide.
But now, if you think that our conversation is over, you're mistaken, because Andrew Kearney, I was about to say, you're probably waiting to see who I've got waiting in the wings to talk about you, and there's nobody. I tried. Okay. Everybody I found went, "Andrew who?" No, never heard of him. But people in the industry know you. They know your qualifications now. They know a little bit more about Andrew as a guide and what you enjoy doing. But I've got a couple of questions that I want to just toss at you, and let's see if we can get to know the real Andrew Kearney, if that's okay with you.
Sure, fire away.
I think we've got a couple of minutes, so your favorite superhero.
Oh, real life, my wife.
You had to say that she's Superman. Probably standing just off camera. Yeah. Sorry, I spoke over you. Wife, no, but like a comic superhero.
I'd have to say Superman. Hey,
fair enough. Anybody who can change change into his underwear in a public phone booth, you got to like the man. Problem now is to find one of those phone booths. They don't exist anymore. Your favorite thing in the whole world?
Wow, you're not going with any of the easy questions today,
Nope.
are you? Favorite thing in the whole world? Spending time. One of my other passions in life is flying. I'm passionate about flying. The feeling of flight is
okay. All right.
Once you have that ability, is you will, every time you hear a plane, you look up.
You and
not
James
because you hear
Stein.
something.
But can
Yeah.
you fly? Can you fly a chopper though?
Not a chopper, no.
Okay.
I fly fixed wings and gyrocopters.
Okay, now that's James's qualification. He got
That's
chopper.
it.
Okay, so let's
And
move on. The most adventurous thing you've ever done? And getting married is not an option.
I've done a couple of Ironman triathlons.
Okay.
Some of them I've trained for, some of them I haven't. A lot of people don't make it past the first 5 minutes of some of those triathlons.
Fair enough.
On my first one, we were standing at the gates on the beach, ready to go in for the swim, and as you know, as the groups were going in, there were guys hitting those waves, and within 2 minutes, lifeguards were pulling guys out, and what
Okay.
have I done? And yeah, so that's I think that was quite an undertaking mentally for me.
Fair enough. If you could meet one famous person, dead or alive, who would it be? Quick answer.
Oh, I would love to spend time.
We'll come back to it. Think about it.
I'll think about that for a little
All
while.
right.
Come
So
back.
If you had a superpower, what would your superpower be?
It would be to be able to talk to animals.
Fair enough. And something we don't know about you that might surprise us?
My team knows me as someone who's very, very tough and strict, and I don't want to say yeah, we'll go with Parat, or
okay,
quite a tough guy. But I'm on the inside. I'm a softie. I've got 2 daughters, and yeah.
Okay, so
I've had makeup.
What are you most proud of, Andrew?
In terms of personally, I think my drive to get where I am in life, without having any of it given to me. I've had to do it from day one by myself. Nothing's for nothing, and you need to work for everything that you've got. And that includes just where I am in life with everything. You know, I've got an amazing wife. I've got a beautiful family around me. I'm working for the most incredible company, and none of it has been for other than understanding hard work and putting your passion into play, and just working for it.
Great stuff. Let's go back to the one person that you'd like to meet or spend time with.
It's going to sound cliche, but I would like to say Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
Anyone who can go through that and still have humility and forgiveness, I want lessons from that.
Fair enough. Andrew, that's it. We now know you. Congratulations once again on the award. It is spectacular. I wish you all the very best. I hope people realize how hard you've had to work to achieve this. And maybe on the back of your guiding shirt, you can put there FGASA Scout Guide, so that people will ask you that you're not just a field guide driving them around Shamwari. Andrew, thank you so much for chatting to me. I look forward to coming down to the Eastern Cape in the not too distant future, and maybe we can get together and go out on a drive and discuss stuff.
It would be lovely. All the best, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk.
Only a pleasure. My guest today on In Conversation with the latest FGASA Scout Guide, that's Andrew Kearney. Andrew, once again, thanks for being on a guest with me here on In Conversation with.
Thanks, Emil. Be safe.